Tell me a little bit about this cemetery here that we're visiting.
And that's the cemetery of Préfaille. It's in three parts, and in the older parts you have actually the tombs of the soldiers who were on the Lancastria boat and who came and were buried here.
Can you tell me a little bit about the Lancastria?
The Lancastria sank on the 17th of June 1940 in 24 minutes, which is really very, very rapid. And it was the biggest disaster, naval disaster of all times. There were only 2,477 survivors, and they might have been, we don't know exactly, maybe up to 9,000 people on board. And for months and months after the disaster, about 6 months, bodies were actually brought to shore. When they went to the Lancastria, when they were taken into the Lancastria, they were very exhausted. They'd been on long marches. They went across France. Some came from Belgium as well, and they just lie down in the hold number 2, the airmen particularly. That was where they mostly were.
It's so surprising that 150,000 men that were left after the evacuation from Dunkirk are virtually forgotten, aren't they, in the
yes,
UK?
Yes.
That's half the number that were taken off at Dunkirk.
Yes.
Were left behind 2 weeks later.
Yes, and they came down. There's several ports along, like Le Havre as well, where they went from. And then one of the last ports was Saint-Nazaire. I think there was maybe further down there was another one, but the German just overtook all of France. So all of those first boards are actually about the cruising on the Lancastria when it changes name. And here on the board 7 is when the war started, and the boat was requisitioned by the British government, and it was stripped of everything it had to make a lot of room for the troops to be brought back to Britain.
Les hommes dans un espoir de survie s'accrochaient entre eux. Certains d'entre eux étaient terriblement brûlés par l'explosion des bombes. D'autres s'accrochaient à toutes sortes de...
Les gars qui n'avaient aucune chance de s'en sortir. Les bombes tombèrent sur le Lancastria, dont une dans la salle des machines. L'obscurité était partout. Une autre bombe était...
Can you tell me about the children that are speaking now?
They're actually from a local senior school. In fact, from their teacher is a friend of mine. She teaches history, and they've been doing things about the Lancastria. And in fact, it's a witnessing of the people, the account of the witnessing of the people who had something to do with saving some lives, etc., and what it did and meant to them. It's also some of the survivors, the story of the survivors as well, that managed to get to the coast or to another boat. It is actually quite harrowing when you actually listen to them.
This little girl shown in the book there.
Yes, Madame Tillier, Madame Tillier, which was here, Tilliard.
Can you tell me a little bit about the rescue of this lady girl?
When our mom heard the bomb, they were in the restaurant on the Lancastria, and as soon as she heard the noise of bomb, she just said, baby here, baby on board, and everybody let her and her husband go by with the baby, and they went into one of the boats on the side of the ship. Unfortunately, that boat didn't float, so they were basically in the water, and her parents were very strong swimmers, so they swam with her, and her dad held her close into his mouth so that she would actually be not taken away from him by any waves or whatever. And they were rescued after a few hours. I can't remember how many hours, 3 hours maybe. And she was lifeless, and she went, she was very cold, she was in like a coma. And the steward I think it was an Orange, put her in hot baths, cold baths, hot baths, cold, and brought her back to life. That's how she was saved, and both her parents were saved as well.
She lived to quite an old age.
She's still alive. She's 78.